Good morning, beginning farmer friends. We are going to try to put these last two shelves up on the shelving unit today so that we can start putting stuff on the shelves, not just talk about shelves, not just have shelves, not just look at shelves, but actually place things on top of shelves. It's a monumental idea. I can't tell you how monumental it is. Something is not right, and it is very frustrating for me because I know I got these shelves measured right. They were checked and rechecked and double checked and triple checked, and I can't get the top shelves in. This whole thing is just kind of cattywampus, I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure how to get it straight, and I'm worried that in my attempts to get it straight, it's going to look silly if I film it and put it on YouTube. But I guess that's what I got to do. Alright, at this point I'm down to the only three tools that I can figure out how to use to get this to work. I've got a carpenter square, I've got a tape measure, and I've got an 8-pound sledge. I don't know what order I will do these things in. This thing may end with a hammer, and not in a good way. This is what I've come up with. This leg over here that's off camera, it's 43.5 inches from the steel on the wall. This leg right here is 45 inches from the steel on the wall. And that leg down there is 44.5 inches from the steel on the wall. That's not good. I don't know if that means the building is crooked, which could be completely true. The shelving is crooked, which could be completely true, or my brain is crooked, which could be completely true. I'm going to try to move the middle legs in ever so slightly and see how things even out, if they even out. That did absolutely nothing. Now we're at 43.5, 44.5 in the middle, but then the back one moved out to 45. It is time for an honest farmer break. This is starting to get slightly discouraging, and I'll tell you why. Here's where I am. This shelving unit right here, I've got all these shelves dropped down in, and everything seems to be lined up perfectly. This shelving unit right here, the bottom two are fine. The third one, I got jammed in there. The fourth one, I can't even tell. I can't really get on the loader high enough to get up there because I don't have a ladder to climb on the loader. I am really a poor farmer when it comes to having the tools that I need to have. Actually, I guess I do have a ladder in there. I am really a lazy farmer when it comes to having the tools that I have. But the reason it is starting to get overwhelming is that stuff in there, I got to do something with it. This is kind of getting out of control at this point. I finally went and got the right tool. I got the ladder out. I lifted the bucket up. I went up to the very top. Nothing is straight on this shelving unit. I tried pounding the board in a little bit and just kind of getting everything to work right, and I don't know. I'm not smart enough for this, is basically what it comes down to. Here's what I am going to do. I have some great viewers who watch these videos. I don't know why sometimes. And I have this gap here, and I've talked about it before, this gap between the board and this cross member right here. And I need to do something about that because otherwise those boards are just going to sag down in the middle. So what was suggested to me is to put a piece of plywood between my plywood shelf and those cross members, those tie bars, I think they were called. Everything I said about putting these boards in right now, just scratch that, because that's 5/8 plywood, that's a 1/2 inch gap. I've got 3/8 plywood right here, which is not a 1/2 inch. I'm back at stopped again. This is a good place to be. These shelves yesterday, yeah, I just kind of gave up on them. They were really starting to frustrate me. It wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go. I just was not in the mood to work on them yesterday because it wasn't going well. This is where I am today though. I've got all these totes right here that my wife found at the thrift store. I do want to bolt the shelves here into the posts, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet because I also want to put a little 1/2 inch board underneath like I talked about yesterday. And it seems like my lean-to mess is just getting bigger and bigger. So my thought for today was to not work on the shelves. I have a plan for them. but I need that plywood, and then I think I'm just going to call it good and we're going to start putting stuff on them. But my plan was to start bringing stuff out of here, stuff that I know is going to go on the shelves, and just start positioning it. There's going to be a lot of stuff that gets stacked up at the very top that I don't need to get to a lot. Let me give you an example. We've got a few big fans like that we use at the county fair. That's just going to go at the very top. I think we have 2 or 3 of them. Just going to stack those up on top of each other. I've also got some other totes that are specific only to county fair stuff. Those are going to go way up at the top because they only come out at a certain point of the year. Then I got all my toolboxes of fencing supplies and animal health supplies. The stuff like these rolls of wire and the fence posts that we use for our rotational grazing, those are probably going to kind of get stuffed in a barrel and not necessarily put up on the shelves. Although now that I think about it, maybe I will make a space up on the top where we just lift that whole barrel up. And then when we need it in the spring, we lift that whole barrel down. That does sound pretty awesome. Then it's not cluttering up the floor. As you can see, we've got a lot to start sorting through. I've got a bunch of tubs. I've got some time. I guess what's the saying? There's no better time than now. Sometimes before the dam breaks, there has to be a trickle. And what we're doing right now is the trickle. I moved out some barrels, some garbage cans that the dog food is in. I moved out some bags of sawdust and dumped those into some garbage cans. My father-in-law gives us the sawdust. He's a woodworker, and so he has lots of it. We use it for chicken bedding and for the nest boxes for the chickens. I kind of have just been sweeping and preparing to start bringing stuff out so that when I bring it out, it has a place that I can set it and has a place that I can sort it. Right now, though, I got to go do something that I wasn't planning on doing, that I don't really want to do. Needs to happen though. I really never wanted to have to use these shelves again. I was getting away from these shelves. I was doing things right, but I have a need for them, a need for shelves of this size, and I'm not going to build any right now, so they're coming back. Fun fact, a couple years back I did a couple triathlons. So I got the bike that I used during the triathlon, and I've got the bike that I used during training. Sometimes I use this one riding to work. As you can tell, it has been a long time since I've used it to ride to work, but maybe this summer. Back to the news though, of what's going on today. I got 2 pallets empty, which does not seem like a lot, but it is a lot because it opens up getting into here. And a lot of this stuff is either stuff that will go outside into storage, or it is stuff that is already sorted, or stuff that probably is just going to leave the farm or join things that are already sorted, if that makes sense. Let me show you what I've got done so far. Of course, I brought this shelf over that I don't like, and I started stacking just easy stuff that I need to be able to get to often. Things like oils, sprays, jacks, oil containers, hydraulic fluid, battery chargers, just whatever I put on this shelf that I need to be able to access at any one time, I've got on that shelf right now. I've also started sorting tubs, putting stuff like dog stuff in one tub, and fencing stuff in another tub, and electrical stuff in another tub. That way, when it's time to put stuff up, I can just go onto the shelves, and as I'm pulling things out of the lean-to, I can just kind of sort them into the tubs where they need to be. This is going to be a lean farm. It's going to take a long time to get it as lean as I want it to be, but we're on a good track now. And I'm feeling better about the shelves and the process today than I was yesterday when I quit making the video and just went to town. I made some good progress today, but there's still a lot of stuff that I need to sort. I brought out buckets like this. This is animal health stuff. I brought out buckets like this. This is a mishmash of fencing and water line and animal health stuff. There's still a lot that needs to get done. A lot of the sorting part of the lean farm, of those 5 S's. But I also have 4 pallets gone in here. And then a bunch of big stuff, like this whole pallet right here is all 4-H stuff that I know it's just going to go on the top of the shelf. So that pallet's taken care of. These 4 pallets are taken care of. All that stuff in tubs and piles out there, really it's just 1 or 2 steps away from getting up on the shelves. So I'm very thankful for the progress that I made today. It was really good for me to just step away from it yesterday because I wasn't going to make any progress yesterday. Let's just be completely honest. It wasn't going well. I've got a plan now. I was able to sleep on it. I was able to think about it. And now I feel like we can get these shelves done. I can't tell you how thankful I am for this shop today. It's 44 degrees today, and I've just been sweeping up dry dust off the floor today. I haven't had to worry about mud at all, even though it is way muddy out there. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope there was something that you enjoyed on it. If nothing else, I feel like today showed the process and the difficulty that it is sometimes as you go through the process, especially as a beginning farmer, especially as a farmer who's trying to make a lot of changes on his farm. it's a process. Always a process.